relapse, the secretary of the Meat Industry Union of the time returned to our office with thousands of leaflets and requested that I organise leaflet handouts in the city in our own time. I, together with one other of our staff, distributed these leaflets in our own time throughout the city. And at the time, distributing leaflets in the city was illegal. So when we did this, we had to watch out for the cops. Most women employed in the trades or council at the time were receiving equal pay and were in the main not interested in helping out. But so we had to go out and do this. And I did this right to the end because I couldn't in all conscience trash the remaining leaflets. The feeling of the union organisers at the time was very optimistic, and they said that if the case failed, strong action would be taken. The time of the case was upon us, and women from the meat industry union were brought into the Industrial Commission to support the claim. I was asked to accompany these women, and we marched up and down the street in front of the commission, holding our placards and chanting our slogans. We entered the building and we took our seats, and you could feel the oppressiveness of the environment. We wouldn't talk, we just whispered to each other. It wasn't long before the decision makers took their place in occupying the front position. There we were, with only men in front of us, the male union representatives arguing in favour of equal pay on the right side of the building, while the business representatives opposing any increase for women were on the left side of the building. And all the decision makers were in the middle. Here were all these men arguing about how much we women were worth, and I found this situation very demeaning. Although Bob Hawke, the advocate of the union, presented the case for work of equal value, the decision brought down was equal pay for equal work, and only 12% of the women in the industry got equal pay. Everyone was shocked by the decision. As for big things happening, the case failed. Nothing happened. After some time, I received a phone call from Diane Sonnenberg, the Secretary of the Insurance Staff Federation, to attend a meeting of the Victorian Employed Women's Organisational Council. This was called VWOC. This organisation was made up of representatives of unions with women members. Diane and I were the only two that turned up to the meeting. We realised that we needed action, and after some conversation, I offered to chain myself across the doors of the Commonwealth building. We chose this building because we believed the Commonwealth Government should set the example of paying equal pay to employees. After failing to obtain the support of VWOC, this organisation, I had no choice but to go it alone. After examining the doors to the Commonwealth building to assess the length of chain that I required, I found out how expensive chain was. So I approached the late Jim Donovan, the Secretary of the Ship Painters and Dockers Union, to see if he could help me out. He did, on the condition that I wasn't to tell anyone how I got the chain. I readily agreed. On the said day, the press, the TV stations were notified that an interesting event would take place at the Commonwealth building. I was extremely nervous about what I was doing, but I felt that we had to draw attention to the pay injustice meted out to women. Just prior to my lunch hour at work, and I work in the meat industry union office, I, together with Yvonne, walked to the Commonwealth building where within seconds I was chained to the building with the heavy chain. I had gone without drinking during the morning to prevent me from being in an embarrassing situation. I chained myself across the doors of the Commonwealth building. I had 4 women supporting me: Zelda D'Aprano, Betty Olive and Yvonne Smith, who stood there with the placards in support of equal pay, while a woman lawyer also attended in case of need. The media were there, and while some of the boys made light of the situation, the message got through. A short film was taken of the chain-up but quickly disappeared from the television channel. A photo of me on the chain appeared in the evening edition of the Herald, and that's what's in this morning's Age, the same photo. The federal police eventually arrived, and I refused to unlock the chain. When the police saw that I was adamant and I wouldn't undo the lock, the senior policeman got the bolt cutter and cut the chain. I was amazed how easy it was to cut the heavy chain. I returned to work and trembled for several hours. 10 days later, on the 31st of October, I, together with Selma Solomon and Eve Beattie, chained ourselves across the doors of the arbitration committee. This was the institution which deprived women of equal pay. If all the women Australia-wide stopped working, our country would close down. Don't ever think that women's labour is unimportant or lacks value. We need to remember this.